Hey guys, so this is my first video, so I will apologize now for the horrible lighting, the stumbling I'm sure I'm going to do throughout it. I'm sure that the more videos I do, I will get more confident and be more together with my videos. So bear with me and we'll get straight into it. I thought for the first video, I will talk with you guys about what I do every day for my face makeup routine. So what I will do is I grab a round cotton pad and I use Bioderma, and I use a round one like this or any cotton pad. So I'll put this on, the Bioderma on it, and I just rub it gently. I let that dry, and then I moisturize it. Then I moisturize. And what I use for a moisturizer is from Acne Org, and it's just a really gentle moisturizer. It's never broken me out, and it just creates a really nice smooth base for your foundation to go on. So once I've applied that, I let that dry for say a minute or so, let your skin absorb it. And because I've got, my skin type is more oily combination, I get quite a lot of shine through the T section. So what I do to help control that, I use a product called Milk and Magnesia. I'm sure a lot of you people have heard about it. It is actually a laxative, but when you apply it topically on the skin, it dries out the surface. So the same as if I'd be applying the Bioderma, I put some on a cotton pad and just kind of rub it in wherever you get oily most. So if you've got oily skin all over, just apply it as you would a moisturizer. So I just do my T section. I let that dry for maybe half an hour, for about 30 seconds. You'll see once it dries, it feels quite dry. You might see some white residue if you've put too much on. I put too much on, and that doesn't bother me because once it dries, I grab my foundation brush and just buff any excess away. And then once you see skin, then that's fine. It's still on, but you don't want to see it almost looks white and chalky. You don't want to apply foundation over it like that. So once I've done that, my skin's prepped, I move on to foundation. Now my foundation that I use is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I buy it in the demo bottles. It works out cheaper. So at the moment I'm between two colors. So I'm using the shell beige and the tawny. So I use a palette. If you can use a disc, anything, back of your hand. I use something like this and I apply say 3 parts shell beige, 1 part tawny. So that gives me my correct shade. However, Estee Lauder foundations tend to run a bit on the pinker side for me. Now they've brought out new colours that I've heard that have got a lot more yellow undertones, which is fabulous. But for me, I use, as I said, that gives me my correct shade, but the undertone's just a little bit off for me. So what I use is a colour corrector. And the colour corrector I use is from Ket Cosmetics. And what a colour corrector does, it just corrects the undertone. So I will put my foundation on here and I'll get a little earbud and I'll do a drop or two. You don't need anything more, they are really pigmented. And you just mix it together and it just corrects it. So I'm quite yellow golden base and that just makes it perfect then. So they do come in, so your red, your blue, your black and your white. So if you were more pink undertone and your foundation was too yellow, you would add a drop or two of this and that would correct it. So once foundation is applied, I move on to concealer. Now the Estee Double Wear I find is just really, really good coverage. So on a whole, all the blemishes are covered. So I don't need to go anywhere on the face and going with concealer. The only place I need to use concealer is underneath my eyes. I suffer from quite dark circles. So I use my concealer, it's actually a foundation. It's from Estee Lauder also, and it's the Double Wear Maximum Coverage. Now this stuff is amazing. I used to use the MAC Studio Fix concealer in the jar, and it's a fabulous foundation. A fabulous concealer. Not so much for under the eyes for me. I find it settles in the fine lines and creases. This is great. It doesn't settle, it dries, it just covers. It's amazing. So once that is done, I move on to my eyebrows. Now, Mine are quite sparse. I've got the shape, but there's just nothing to it. So I know a lot of girls on here use shadows, and shadows are really great, and they create quite natural looking eyebrows. For me, if you need to draw quite a bit in, I find the shadows make it look more unnatural. So I find that the gel works best for me. It stays put, it doesn't move until you take it off that day, at the end of the day. So I use the MAC, and it's called Dip Down. So it's just a brown color. So, and I apply that with, I don't have a brush here, but just an angled brush. So just draw that in, and then that's done. Then I will move in with, to set it all, I use in the T section the Prep and Prime. This is a fabulous product. It's almost like it's a primer. So if you've got any, I suffer from like just fine lines on my forehead, laugh lines. So say during the day, you know, laughing or smiling and whatnot, and you get them slight creases there. This is a great product for it. So how I apply that on the whole, I grab a big fluffy brush. This one is the powder blush from Real Techniques. And so I just put my brush in it and just kind of like stipple it on. For particular areas where I get the fine lines, I grab a smaller brush, which is the Real Technique Expert Face Brush. And so I just go, so for here, and just kind of pat it in. So you just almost to a sense puttying up the line, and it's just fantastic. Oil control on this is just fabulous. So this is a really great product. Then, so I set my T-zone with this. I don't use it all on my cheeks because it can feel quite tight. So to set my cheek area is the MAC Blot Powder, which I also use during the day if I get any oilies coming through. This just fixes it up. It fixes it up. It's a great product because it's pressed, so you can just chuck it in your handbag. It's amazing. I wouldn't be without that one. Now to contour or bronze, I use the MAC Blunt. It's just a nice matte product. There's no shimmer. I think with most contour products you don't want a product with shimmer in it. And to apply that, I use the Real Technique contour brush. So that's really good. And these brushes are just so soft, and it's just the perfect. It's not too big, so you're not going to get big. It's really nice. So with blush, I usually use, I prefer more the cool pinks, or the pinks with a bit of blue undertone in it. At the moment, I've been really enjoying, I usually go back from, it's called Blossom Up Rosehip, and that's a matte colour. Now this is a duo. This was a limited edition, so I don't think they do it anymore. Probably can't see it because of the lighting. If I'm going out, then I'll use a shimmer. I won't necessarily use a blush that contains a shimmer or a sheen in it during the day, because as I said, I've got an oily skin, so by midday I've got enough oils of my own coming through. I don't need any more shine than what I've applied. So, but for night I use MAC Dolly Mix, and it is really a beautiful colour. On a whole, I don't use highlighters again during the day. If I was to go for a night out, my choice would be the Mineralized Matte Skin Finish, and that's in the Soft and Gentle. So, and that looks like this. I'll see if I can swatch it for you. It is really beautiful, but for daytime for me, it's just too much. So that's really good. Now to do my eyes, I usually I don't go crazy with the eyeshadows. I just keep it quite neutral. I'll use, I'll either rotate. I'll usually use something from like the Naked Basics palette. It's nice matte. I might use like a beigey colour on the lids, and then in the crease just a darker brown. To line my eyes, I will use the Revlon Colour Stay, and this is great because it still looks like a pen. So it's just easy to control. It lasts. I've cried in this stuff and it doesn't budge. So this, I really recommend it. Now for mascara, CoverGirl Lash Blast. It's fantastic. I've tried higher ends and they are good. The major selling point for this for me is that there's no fallout. So during, you get midday, you don't have your panda eyes happening. Like you put it on and it doesn't come off until you take it off. So this is a fantastic product. So just having a look, I think that's it. So as I said, I'm sorry about the lighting. First video, so I'm a little bit nervous. So if you've got any questions, if you want me to do any reviews on any of the products, if you would like a demonstration on how I apply the products, just comment below. But yeah, that's it. I will see you in my next video. Bye.